Okay, guys, we're about to start. So this is going to be a panel discussion on blockchain use cases, and I'm just going to go on and briefly introduce myself, and then pass on to the very much adored and renowned members of our panel. So my name is Eugene. I've been doing software development business for 10 years. And we have a blockchain intelligence platform which is called Desmos that we're launching later this year. I'm from Kiev and I live between Kiev and Berlin. So if you have an exciting project that you want to pitch or anything that you might want to ask me, then come and do it after this. Я говорю по-русски. And so with this, just let me pass the word to the members and let them introduce in a couple of words. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Max. I'm a founder of Byzantium ICO agency. We run ICOs. We have 3 successful cases: is Humanic, Cryptwiser, and CryptoPing. If you have any question about marketing, PR, or other communications concerned with ICOs, so feel free to ask me.
Hi, my name is Ferdinand Mück. I'm from Keil Capital. We advise German corporates and European corporates on blockchain projects, anything in the region from finance to supply chain tracking solutions.
Hello, my name is Andrey Khavryuchenko. I'm a professional software developer for 25 plus years. I create and manage distributed teams for almost 20 years. I'm into cryptocurrencies since 2013. I'm blockchain architect and advisor and early founder of, I guess, 3 projects that are presenting now here in the LA.
Thank you very much. My name is Jan Keil. I'm Vice President for Marketing at one of the bigger outsourcing companies here in Ukraine, Infopulse. And I'm also, like all the others on the panel discussion, a blockchain interest, working in this sphere. The very first connection was in 2010. I tried to mine some Bitcoin, wasn't successful overnight. I switched off the laptop and forgot about it for the next almost 3 years. So since 2.5 years, I'm involved into it. We are doing business development, business solutions, and we are also doing solutions for the consumers. Let's speak about it a little bit later.
Yeah, so we are here to talk hopefully about some real-world use cases of how blockchain is successfully applied, and also about the cases where it shouldn't be applied at all. So you all know, because you're here, about the successful will to implement blockchain into working businesses and to kickstart new businesses with ICO or whatever. So I think the first question that we should try to jump on is that among all that is the madness that is happening in the blockchain world, with starting with the Ethereum price going crazy and then a bunch of ICOs, so can you pinpoint to maybe at first the industries, that there are the obvious industries that would benefit, like the financial ones? Have you came across unexpected industries that would benefit, you think? And what do you think is this famous low-hanging fruit of the blockchain implementation and blockchain use, both in corporate and for the customer? So you have the mic, please speak up, whoever wants to. Thank you.
So starting here and going back then this way. So low-hanging fruits, I don't believe that there are any low-hanging fruits in this ecosystem. The fact is quite clear. It's new technology, it's innovation. We are actually, with the technology, trying to aim changing the world, at least that things that have been centralized before becoming decentralized. And you fairly enough understand that wherever on the market there are more serious people playing, they will clearly try to at least stop or to break it or to pause it. So we are facing regulations, everyone knows it. It's not only the SEC from America, it's China and more countries. Even Germany is in the same group of regulating everything. So as for me, there is no hanging fruit. There have been some ICOs very successfully in the beginning or in the end of last year and in the beginning of this year. But everyone knows that it's getting harder and harder, not only because of the idea which is behind this project, mostly 99%. I don't want to say they're a scam, they just haven't understood what blockchain is for and just use it maybe as a instrument for raising money in a different way. When we come to industries, in my opinion, all our industry are prone to get revolutionized by the blockchain technology. Is it the financial sector which are actually putting a barrier in front of us? They don't want to. It's clear they are losing their business. They are getting out of the business. Whether it's the insurance business, which for sure can win using this technology, whether it's the tourist business, the gaming business. There is actually a nice gaming startup, Flux, out there, which is also aiming to change the gaming world, making it more trustful. And yeah, I think my counterparts can add some other industries or possibilities of being low-hanging fruit.
Okay, I usually try to frame my answer into short answer and long answer. So short answer is Bitcoin and speculative assets that is not correlated to any other asset class. And fundraising through ICO, both are already explored and quite saturated. That was the short one. The long answer is, well, from technical point of view, the blockchain is just a specific kind of database that is quite slow and extremely reliable. So
don't give away the secrets. So everyone thinks it's fast. So just.
Yes, sorry to disappoint. So any application, any industry that would like to process information with in the hostile environment with extreme unreliability and exceptional requirements for trust, in the end would be disrupted by some kind of blockchain solution. Yet I tend to agree there are no more low-hanging fruits. You have to do your job to get the next one.
Work hard.
Yep, exactly.
Yes, well, I think from us sort of working closely with German corporates, first we educate them about how blockchain works, and then the use cases actually come up. So we've helped Daimler-Benz, for instance, issue a bonded loan over 100 million euro on the blockchain. So what they're trying to do is basically cut out the bank, cut out the fee. Yeah. So, and this will now happen for other corporates in Germany as well, right? Because once, it's clear that this process works, and you can just basically sell your loan to your investors on a blockchain, and the other the other corporate investors are part of that chain. The bank has a little role to play, really. I mean, because no more KYC. Everybody knows the professional investors. Due diligence for Daimler is not necessary. Every week there's an analyst report out there. So I think it's sort of maybe not the obvious killer application you would think for a blockchain, but loans, bonded loans, that's going to work, because you cut costs. And this is going to work in all the corporates that have lots of debt. So that's a very clean use case. I think that we will see a lot more of this. And the banks really have to think what is their role in this part. So of course, tokenization will become a regulated activity, like securitization is today. And then the banks have a role, but lots of the fees will go back. So that's one use case I think that's simple and will work. And the other thing that we've seen, basically other financing products. So for instance, for another automotive, we do basically truck finance. So we finance the car using a blockchain technology, and people are basically, they pay on the blockchain, and when the money is up, the car stops. So it's really the smart contract helps you not just for the finance, but also to enforce the payment. So I think that the blockchain works in a lot of industries, and where it will work the most is where you have some distributed system and there's no trust there. So the other things, think about large companies that have worked with lots of suppliers. Yeah. So we work for Deutsche Post, for instance, and they're thinking really hard how they can. It's a private blockchain, but with all the suppliers, lots of bills are being written, lots of documents are going back and forth, very offline. So they can save a lot of money again, just using that blockchain technology for their private suppliers. So it might be the Bitcoin ICO killer application, but I think there are some really cool use cases with hard dollars. Yeah, so it's not fantasy. No ICO of will it ever happen? Will it not happen? Who cares? It's just the basics of it, saving costs or making things more efficient. The blockchain will help a lot.
I agree that there are only two really working cases. First is Bitcoin, and second is ICOs. But I think that the biggest market for next years will be machine interactive, because only robots and IoT can use blockchain, and it will be really confident, and because when we add somebody to blockchain, blockchain became centralized, and it depends from person. I believe in blockchain that work without people, and I think that robots are a real use case for blockchain.
Are here to take our jobs.
I actually got a nice idea how to structure it a little bit in a different way, and thank you, Ferdinand, who helped me that finding out. Actually, what we can do is we can identify what we are doing with the blockchain in two ways: whether we disrupt horizontal, or we disrupt vertically. What do I mean? If we have a look to the horizontal disruption, it means you have a kind of value chain, you have a kind of supply chain, you have a kind of process grabbing one into the other, right? Let's imagine another very interesting startup, which is also here. It's on the right-hand side. It's Remember Me. There we have actually a horizontal disruption. What we are doing is we are cutting off the centralized authorities which are approving whether a certificate is right, is valid, or is no longer valid. Yeah? At the moment it's doing a company is called like VeriSign. They are owning millions of dollars a year because they are just what they are doing, they're printing their own money. They give out a certificate and say it's you, and therefore please pay me $150, right? Or euro. What Remme is doing, Remme says, okay, we still use SSL, we still use the X509 standard certificate, but we cut off the centralized structures. We just use SSL as a container and put the information whether a certificate was valid or it's valid or was revoked on the blockchain. We put a player out of the market. That's a disruption. That's something where you earn a lot of money, because this money, which was before earned by VeriSign, is now getting back into the ecosystem and can be spread in a different way. So this was the horizontal disruption. Let's have a look what is a vertical disruption. Here, an example, thank you, that's why Ferdinand brought me to it. We at Infopulse also did a solution, a syndicated loan solution for the banking sector. And here, very, very interesting is to understand, we don't cut someone out, we don't throw away the banks, no. I mean, Infopulse is business oriented, we have to feed 1,500 engineers. What we're doing here is optimization. In the banks, you have the problem after the after they build up their entire internal communication and network structure, they may be improved, but they've completely forgot about compatibility between banks. So there is a process of syndicating loan. Yeah? If someone asks for $1 billion, maybe a bank by itself don't want to give the credit. So what they are doing, they are forming a consortium, and then four or five banks together are giving the loan. At the moment, those four banks have to talk to each other. Different email systems, different databases, different whatever processes to manage. And so a syndicated loan process at the moment takes up to 30 days. Using the blockchain technology, but not blockchain in the way of Bitcoin mining and things like that. Just using blockchain as a possibility to combine different stakeholders in a clear, transparent, and understanding in a way that a consensus can be formed. You're also disrupting, because at the moment with the new solution based on blockchain, a syndicated loan, to apply for it and to get it approved from all the stakeholders, from all the banks, takes only 5 days. So you also have a disruption. You also do some optimization, you do some automation with the help of blockchain. So what you have to do is you have to look what you want to do. You want to disrupt horizontal or you want to disrupt vertically, and then just go for it.
Thank you. That was a shameless but very appropriate pitch of also Remy service, which Jan represents. So
sorry for that.
yeah, that's you can come and check it. It's an awesome project. So guys, for us to better cater to what you need from this panel, can we have an idea of how professional is your interest in the blockchain technology and just its usage? So if you want to or already are making money with it or any kind of business connected with it, so it means that it's professional or about to be professional, can you please raise your hand? Yeah. Okay, and if you are just what they call curious about the technology, that's, I suppose, going to be the rest of you, otherwise you wouldn't be here, right? Okay. So I think that also means what approach we should take into discussing the use cases and how technical they should be. So also, there's another more generic question. Are you sure that you understand what a blockchain is? Can you honestly put up your hand if you think you understand? Ah, okay, that's. I don't know if we should go into an explanation of we will be robbing the bread and butter of the other guys who are doing it. So, okay. Yeah, there is since we are talking about real-life application and how blockchain can be used, so it has to be said that, of course, it's not a magic bullet. So whenever a new technology comes along, be it artificial intelligence, machine learning, or computer vision, then everyone wants to solve all of their problems using it. So this is called over-expectation about a technology. And I think we are right now in the curve of this, on at least, if not on the top, then almost on the top of this over-expectation about the blockchain. So whenever a new project comes along, so if you are doing a project that is blockchain related, or if you think that it might need blockchain, I think it would be useful to know what criteria should the author of the project or someone who is doing it look for to understand if it needs blockchain at all. So the next question would be, let's say I'm the guy next door who wants to tokenize his newspaper delivery, or selling mooncakes, as one I once heard. There is a Chinese ICO that is now selling mooncakes, and they are doing an ICO. So what are the criteria that one should look for to decide whether you need blockchain or not? And second, maybe another question, do people have to shy away from just raising money simple and plain, like in an angel round, even if they don't have anything to do with blockchain or not? So do they have to stick in the technology that might not be there? And what do they need to decide? So please.
Okay, I am holding the mic, so I will start. Short answer. I am heavy in favor of Andreas Antonopoulos' interpretation. If you read a white paper or presentation and can just search and replace blockchain with corporate database solution, and it still makes sense, then you don't need blockchain, definitely. The longer answer. If you would, once again, blockchain is just a specific kind of database. Sorry. It's a database that was designed to provide an authoritative answer within hostile environment where any party cannot trust any other party on the network. If you are sure that your business requires such an overhead in the database, use blockchain. If don't, check other solutions. They might be better for you. And side note, if you would like to use blockchain ICO just as a fundraising vehicle, well, go for it, but first consult lawyers.
Yeah, I would agree. So I mean, the blockchain is only powerful, at least in my feeling, if there is, it's basically multiple parties involved that don't trust each other. First thing. Second thing is that there's some sort of automated processing involved. Yeah, so not just basically transfer of some value, but the process as such is also important and must be immutable. And so it's very important that the results cannot be faked in any way. Yeah, so. If you basically you try to violate your project into a blockchain, it's not going to work. You might catch some money, but that's about it. So yeah, I mean, I always think it's one of the prime examples I just saw recently. So think about, let's say, in a country where there is not so strong institutions, yeah, and you need to have one register to say which land is owned by whom. Yeah, nobody trusts no one in those countries. Let's say in Iran, for instance. Yeah, so you need one central authority that, yeah, but it doesn't exist. So now what happens is that you do the peer-to-peer proof. Yeah, so in that regard, blockchain makes sense because then the other people can say, hey, it's actually true what he says. Yeah, and and so in a sense, if there's no strong central entity needed or can be, the decentralized peer-to-peer solution can be good.
About blockchain, if you think that blockchain is needed in your project because it's fashion or cool, you don't need blockchain. And if you don't know why you need blockchain, you don't need blockchain. About ICOs, we have 4 criteria. We have also 0 criteria. If you can replace your token with Bitcoin or Ethereum, you no need ICO. Just run a service and use popular cryptos. About ICO, we have 4 criteria. First is revolutionary. The second is profitable. The third is doable, and fourth is good. If you have only 2 or 3 of these criteria, your ICO will be very difficult to launch and to make successful. It's our opinion, and I think that a lot of projects just use blockchain because it's fashion and it's not good for our industry. So please. Revolutionary, profitable, good, and doable.
What do you exactly mean by good?
I mean ecological for society. Okay. So
But we can check all the top ICOs if they meet all these 4. I don't think they will pass. So like we can do the top 10 and check. They won't pass, but still they have hundreds of millions of dollars. Please, Jan.
I mean, I like the definition of Maxim very much because it gives a good kind of checklist which without going for the Howdy test or whatever, it's a good instrument. 4 questions, check it. But maybe we can go a little bit back into the past to get an understanding of why is blockchain actually good. And here we have to go into accounting. So if you go back another, I don't know, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, we had the one-sided booking, which means I just have a book in which I write down, I gave you 50 apples, yeah? I gave you 50 of the grusha, beers, yeah? But there was, that was it. I had my book, and in this book I just wrote down whom I gave something, right? Then there came the next evolution. It was the double booking. Yeah? So you had both sides, active and passive side. Instead of just writing down what you gave away, you also wrote down what you received. Right? So far you can follow. And now we have the evolution with blockchain. That's actually three-part booking, which means you first book what you gave away, you book what you receive for it, and more importantly, you do it public. Yeah? You do it in a certain moment, right? In this distributed moment. So everyone around connected to this kind of ecosystem can actually prove or audit that this is true. I mean, if the data is truly available, of course, in this blockchain, can prove and audit it. Yeah? So you have a three-time booking. So whenever your project needs to have these kind of this sort of booking, yeah, that you book internally, active, passive, and you book externally in the public cloud, in the blockchain, that everyone can see it and everyone can control it, then most probably your project has a reason to use blockchain. Okay?
I love that example about the double entry accounting and the triple entry. And
thank you very much for correct naming it.
Yeah,
single, double, and triple,
double and
entry
triple
accounting.
And it's a fun story that is many times I heard it on the conference mentioned, because the 12th century, if I'm not mistaken, the ones who introduced the double entry accounting were the Medici, because they would sail their ships too far away to be able to just use the old system. So that means that whoever is sitting in this room could be the next Medici for all we care. So and the massive redistribution of wealth that will happen in the next years, which is not a topic of our panel, but it is happening. So, I think we have time for one last, and then we should take some questions. So maybe if you guys can name any use cases that you are excited about and you think are the best ones. I don't know. Yeah, exclude your projects. Yeah. And then name one or two ridiculous ones. So just think of something that should not be there, but still used blockchain and went on.
So me personally, I already made enough commercials about what projects we are supporting, whether it's Flux, the gaming platform, or Remme, get rid of passwords. But I think I use the example of horizontal and vertical disruption. So without naming any of those nice projects, and there are a lot of projects out there, not only in Ukraine, I think projects that are definitely disrupting in a horizontal way, cutting out players that are in some extent accumulating money in a centralized way and not giving it away just to get more wealthy and more wealthy. I think those projects have a real value and have a real sense to be alive and be supported, right?
Well, if I should not mention industries I am involved with, then none. If I can, then gaming industry. We are disrupting it with D-Market and Dream Team. We are doing distributed deep learning AI on a blockchain, Pandora blockchain project, and definitely online marketing, both visuals and email marketing that are at least they are very interesting for me personally to use new toolkit to change the industry and do massive disintermediation and optimization of processes. Regarding the ridiculous ones, well, I don't think going for ICO for a bakery is a good idea, and definitely a bad idea is to issue token rounds in a Ponzi-like scheme, which I hear, well, every other day, I guess.
So Ponzi schemes is not good.
No.
Shit.
Please don't because they will track you down, and, well, not a good experience.
I think I'm excited about the blockchain, how it will help in developing countries. As I said before, when there are no strong central institutions, so setting up ledgers for who owns which land, these sort of things, I think makes total sense, will work. And then, of course, other really cool use cases I think would be peer-to-peer lending, yeah, so peer-to-peer technology. I mean, it exists in a traditional sense, right? But then, I mean, if you really have trust lines between the people, and it gets more exciting and it's more powerful. But of course, you need.
Sorry, Ferdinand, any projects you can name in the peer-to-peer lending that you know of?
No, on the blockchain, I don't know one. I mean, I've saw some interests from a couple of people that want to work on it, but I haven't seen one.
There's an Australian project which is supposedly really. I'll send you a link later.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I think that's. Yeah.
Ferdinand, you had a good idea when we discussed before outside preparing the panel. You had a really good idea, which is a killer app for a blockchain.
Well, I mean, of course, I mean the obvious one is the voting. Yeah. So if the government implemented voting, that would be immutable. You cannot basically trick the elections anymore. But I mean, it's a killer app. The question is, will it happen? Yeah. Yeah.
Will authorities allow it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
We don't have to ask for permission anymore.
yeah. No. So I think those are some good use cases. The bad use cases, I mean, there's so many bad ones. I don't even want to talk about it.
There is a lot of projects that I can name because a lot of industries that will be changed by this project. First, it's infrastructure projects like Ethereum, Stellar, Bancor, Aira, venture capital, and funds management is Syndicator. Tokenization of commodities is Goldmint and La Token, and project that will change how we interact with smart contracts and how we will interact with each other. It's Confidel. So we built projects that it's a smart constructor and escrow platform with real mediators and arbiters. So in a few months, you will be able to solve any contract problems inside our blockchain platform. So it's a bit of advertising, but I think that a really good project.
Thank you. That's a very hands-on experience. This is really cool. Yeah.
Because Maxime said gold mined or gold mint, I don't want to comment on this. They even collected quite good in just one day, but that gave me an example of a blockchain project which definitely makes no sense. I mean, not gold mine because their concept is a little bit different one, but there is not one, but there is one project out there which is actually you buy cryptocurrency, right? And then the cryptocurrency you give to them, and they will buy gold for it and put it in a safe somewhere. That's their use case. I don't get it, to be honest. I mean, if I want to secure my wealth, then I buy the gold myself, put it at home. When something is happening, energy is completely switching off, there is no computers, no Bitcoin. I mean, then I don't need to have a gold in some safe somewhere over the ocean. I need to have it somewhere under my bed to pay maybe something which is still possible to be traded then with gold.
I think they're solving a very concrete problem, the founders, which is lack of money with the founders.
For themselves.
This is a very, yeah, for themselves. So this is a very real problem.
Yeah, I also want to buy a house. Yeah, let's make an ICO.
Okay, so I think we can take a couple of questions, if you please. Yeah.
In all your opinion, what is the application or effect of blockchain tech in marketplace, in the marketplace stack? For example, Airbnb, so it has a communication layer, data layer, payments layer, has a rating system. What is most likely to be affected? What's the effect on the marketplace economy as a whole moving forward?
Will get disrupted. I mean, Airbnb there at the moment, I don't know, collecting a little bit less than 20%. Yeah. I just was buying my Airbnb for London, and I pay £400 for the flat and £100 for just for the service charge. So I mean, Airbnb, there are 50 people working in San Francisco, or is it LA, somewhere there? 50 people. So that's, again, this is what I mean. This is this horizontal disruption which we can do. We don't need to have a central organ which is doing this, which is managing this. We don't need to pay them 20% of our costs, right?
So I guess that's the next question. Would for example, Airbnb disrupted horizontally, or would some verticals of it would still need to be regulated, which blockchain wouldn't be able to replace?
If we just speak about Airbnb, in my opinion, Airbnb will not be existing no more.
Actually, on Data.NE that was held in Kiev in Monday and Tuesday, there was one startup that was targeting exactly the hospitality, the Airbnb. And well, I am all in favor in such kind of projects. The only issue with them is availability of the supply. When I'm going to London, to San Francisco, I would like to have a wide selection of options, and it's very difficult to disrupt such an entrenched competitor. Yet, as time will go, on blockchain solutions that require much less trust than, say, Airbnb would disrupt, because they would be plainly cheaper. They have a market edge.
My question is less related to how we can use blockchain to trade either physical assets or trade trust, which is, well, one of the basic features of the blockchain, but it's more related to how we can actually cut down time and allow people who provide services to become more efficient. I have a very specific use case in which we're building a community center in Unit City. Maybe some of you have heard of it. And the issue there is that usually startups, they always like funding, that's obvious, but they usually need funding when they have a solid product which has to be shipped, and it has to be shipped faster than they can do it right now. But usually they are working on a product that is either not market feasible, or that does require some specific niche expertise, which is a product the startup team does not usually possess. And so what we are trying very hard to do is to find the specific mentors or people with specific set of expertise or skills to help those startups at the time of their need, but not when it takes 2 months or 3 months to find the person. So we set about a blockchain to tokenize the time and the expertise of certain people, but we did not find the economic feasibility yet for this. So what's your take on actually tokenizing or using blockchain for services?
I mean, there's a service out there, I think, where you can basically you pay to get answers, right? And I think very concise use case. And yeah, in this sense, I mean, what you need to do is basically get all of those advisors that you want on your chain, and then the startup can pay per each question or something like that. I think there's a use case out there already live, founded by Andrey and Horowitz.
Can I, just to dig deeper into your question, the inefficiency in a process usually is due to two reasons. Either the information that is available to the person that makes decision is outdated, or it is not accurate. I mean, it's not trustable. Blockchain definitely can be a solution, a part of solution here, but it's not the solution. Regarding the specific case you have mentioned, I don't think tokenizing time or tokenizing expertise would work. It much better would be to use the database of blockchain to store the reputation and the feedback for the expert, and thus create, by this way, create the additional trust on the marketplace. So I can just go and check the list of top 5 consultants in I don't know, ICOPR and marketing, and be sure that the feedback is valid. Here in the second line.
Thank you. Jan, I got several points for you about Airbnb. Yes, I disagree. Let me disagree with you about they don't have value, because if you got a conflict between a host and a customer who wants to stay in a host, and host says, I can host you, sorry guys, you need to cancel. I don't want to cancel because I will get a fine and reputation loss because of that. And I don't want to cancel because he has some obligations. Next thing I do, I contact support and say, Airbnb, please help me. This guy's trying to cheat me. And they do like an arbitrage, right? So in a blockchain solution, you got, if it is not centralized, if it's not a private blockchain, you got no one to contact. So this is a problem.
Sorry. Yes. First of all, this is not a question. This is an argument. But
yes,
yes, I totally agree with it, with at least part of what you said. So let us repeat again that like blockchain in many occasions is not only not needed, is also inefficient. So it can be inefficient in speed. It can be inefficient in negotiation. Like your next MongoDB can do so much more in so much less time. But that's the price of freedom. So if you are not willing to pay that price of freedom, then just don't use it. So, and the economic, the financial model is that the existing players are not gonna go away just because, like a vampire with the garlic, just because you show blockchain to them and they're gonna, okay, we don't need the money, we're just going. So this is very logical. So yeah.
So then, before Andrey, okay, just one answer. This argument you gave, they can be solved in a democratic way without the need of having a central point who is deciding whether you are right or me is right. I'm not telling you now all the different possibilities, but for sure you can create a committee out of decentralized people making the decision whether this was fraud or this was this way or this was this way, right? And in the end, even having Airbnb, they are not solving the problem. I have just read recently, again, because I was booking for London, but no, I'm lying. It was Nuremberg, it was Germany, the ITSA, IT security exhibition where I'm going to. And there was one girl which provided her flat, and she had only good remarks. And there was one, the last remark was very, very bad. And the remark was that there were camera inside, and she was in our room all the time, and she prohibited us to sleep and such kind of things. And then there was the answer from this person and said, yeah, but you know, she came with she was reserving this with one person, but she came with 5 person in my notes is written no partying allowed. She even invited 10 more people to party there, and in the end they had to call the police to find who is right and who is not right. So I don't accept this argument, sorry, which you gave. I think that we have the possibility to solve those kind of questions also in a decentralized manner. And you can do incentives for this. Again, something to let everyone earn and not someone only on the top.
And once again, regarding this specific case, the arbitrage, the tech support is a service, and it could be solved in a free market way, not in democratic way. Just like, for example, it is implemented on Open Bazaar. The payment is held in the escrow until both parties are satisfied with the service. In the case any party is not satisfied, there is the arbitration clause is invoked, and then you pay the arbitration fee. And I deeply believe that it would be much cheaper than any centralized fee. Because once again, you can decentralize the arbitration. Why not? And use the reputation score to select the best arbitrators. It would be the prices on this market would be drawn down by plain competition, and everyone would benefit.
Thank you.
And that's why we do Confidel, and that's a decentralized arbiter model. And if we told about Airbnb and apartments, it very little costs. But if we told about international arbiter in supplies and other issues, it maybe cost more than $1 million in centralized way, and about $1,000 in decentralized way. And it will be run in a few years, I think, and it will be work in almost all blockchain platforms where arbiter is needed.
Everyone who don't agree will be crushed, and happiness will rule the world forever. Thank you. Yeah, радоваться. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks a lot for our amazing